had a lengthy legislative meeting this morning, and we have a full agenda today for personnel. And while we're still getting set up online, I think we'll get going. So at this point, can I have a motion to approve our minutes from our previous meeting? Supervisor Montesi, seconded by Supervisor McDevitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At this point, and I'll revisit this again at the end of the meeting, is there anyone that would like privilege of the floor? Okay, hearing none, today we have with us our SUNY Adirondack representatives, and they are going to give us an update on construction and also have another request to come before the committee this morning. So the floor is yours, Dr. Duffy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Doing final days of summer. Well, construction is moving along. We're all still standing. We've got, now 2 full work days left to get our science building ready for classes that start on Wednesday. But we're moving along, and it will be open for sure. And continued construction on the Workforce Readiness Center. That's ahead of schedule, actually, and then we're still continuing our renovations of Warren Hall. I believe you all should have gotten an invitation to the ribbon cutting, which will be next Friday, the 8th at 4:15. So I hope to see all of you and be giving tours, and you can see our position space. And just as a reminder, that morning we also have our joint county meeting to discuss our capital request, which will be presented at that meeting. So we'll be seeing you all again in about a week for a full agenda, which will be sent out to you tomorrow morning once the board approves the capital request that we're bringing forward to them tonight. So you'll see that tomorrow. And in general, just so you know, enrollment is looking really good. We're up in first-time new students, which is great for us. We're already ahead of our budgeted goals, so that's always a good place for us before we even hit the ground running next week. So that's looking good, and housing is at full occupancy, and we have a priority list. So the health of the institution is very strong. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about today, and I have Anne-Marie Somar, our Vice President for Administration and Finance, and John Jablonski, who is our Vice President for Academic Affairs, is with me as well to answer your questions. But as you know, we've been working for several months now to be able to expand our culinary program, take advantage of the opportunity to move into the downtown Glens Falls area. The college was fortunate enough to be awarded an amount of money through the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, which, as most of you, I'm sure all know, that the state awarded Glens Falls $10 million to put towards projects to revitalize the city, and we were one of those priority projects. So we've been working since about February to determine a location, how we were going to finance, if we were going to do this, etc. So it's been several months of work. And at this point, we are happy to announce that we have received formal final funding from Empire State Development to support the most of the costs, not all of them, some of them will come from other sources, but most of the costs to fit up space as well as equip a brand new culinary arts center, which will be double the footprint of what we have currently, which will allow us to increase enrollment, to offer more opportunities in our culinary program, such as baking courses, which we currently have space to do, including things like gluten-free baking, etc. Really keeping up with what's happening in the culinary world and supporting, of course, the large tourism industry in our region. So we have, I can share the letter with you if you wish, but a formal commitment from ESD to fund $1 million to support the fit-up and equipment that we need. So the final piece of what we need to figure out and what we're coming to the county to ask to support us as our sponsor, the funding that we get from ESD is a reimbursable, full 100% reimbursement, but we don't have the money up front. And in other times when the college isn't in 3 different construction projects, we would probably be able to usually front that money, but we're just not in a position to do that right now. So Anne-Marie has spoken with Mike Swan and others on the board to talk about the possibility of the county helping us with that. The term of the project would begin in November of this year, and we would complete the construction, i.e. the fit-up cost, or the fit-up and the equipping the building by March. Once the project is fully complete, then we submit all the invoices to ESD for reimbursement. Typically, it can take 3 to 6 months, is what we've been told. We've had a great relationship with the folks at ESD throughout this process. We were also told that if things were finished prior to that completion date, we could submit invoices to at least get things started, so hopefully moving along the reimbursement process sooner. But, to make sure that we're being completely transparent, it could be until September of 2018 that the county would get full reimbursement, so it's certainly something that you all would need to consider. Our indication from the conversation with Mike Swan is that, and I won't speak for him, but that this might be possible, but obviously we want to talk it through with all of you and of course to the Finance Committee as well. So I have my experts here in the room that have been even more in the weeds on this project than I have, but our request is to ask the county to support us on this. It's a great project for the college. It's certainly a great project for downtown Glens Falls and has been highly supported, not only locally but also at the state level, including the governor's office. So we're very confident that it's the right thing to do for the county and for the community. So that's what we're talking about.
Supervisor Montesi?
So the project is $1 million project to build the unit.
So it's we're not actually building; we're leasing the space.
Right.
And it's actually more than $1 million. It's $1.3 million. So we're contributing $3 million of the full fit-up cost. So the funds that we're receiving would be to help us fit up the space as well as equip the space.
And then you
1.3 million total. 300,000 is what we're contributing to the full.
So you're asking the county, then what your request would be is, would you float us a loan of $1 million for 6 to 8 months?
Correct. I mean, that's essentially what it is. And
okay.
The way we've been working the NSTEM project is really what we would propose, and that's not really that you would front the college $1 million to disperse, but what we do is, as a pay application comes in, the architects review it, our staff that's in charge of managing the project reviews it. We then forward it to Warren County, who looks at it. They send us the money to pay the bill, we pay the bill, and then we kind of keep track of the reimbursement. For NSTEM, we're submitting those as they go and getting reimbursement from the state, but for this project, we know we won't be able to get the reimbursement until the project's over.
Doing it that way, we don't have to upfront all the money right up front. So as we go along, obviously, and for our office, it's a lot easier to keep track of it doing it that way. So we know exactly how much and where the money is going. We've worked with, my office has worked very well, I think, on the NSTEM. So I think it'll just continue. I don't see a problem with it.
At this point, I'd also like to ask our county attorney to just give you an update. She's done some legal research just to be sure that it is something that the county could do. So, Mary, if you want to.
Our office reached out to the state comptroller's office just to make sure that this was legally permissible. They did call us back and they asked some specific questions about it, but they themselves wanted time to research it as well. I would expect we'd probably hear from them next week. They're pretty quick in their response, so then we'll have an answer about whether or not it's actually legal to do this.
The other issue, and Mike, perhaps you could speak to this as well, we know that we have a policy here in Warren County from the Treasurer's Office that without a signed contract, we don't move forward with grants anymore. And I think your response to me, Anne-Marie, was that next week or next...
Actually,
Oh,
today.
today.
We got word from our legal counsel today that we're good to go to sign the contract with ESD.
Great. Thank you. Supervisor Sokol?
Thank you, Madam Chair. From my understanding, if anybody's curious about interest, I think we're only losing out on about $1,000, so for me, it's no issue.
Okay. Supervisor Garrity?
What if they don't pay you?
Well,
Because
we have a signed contract with the state, and this is...
we have a lot of signed contracts with the state, but what if they don't pay? I mean, that's a concern, knowing our budget situation. I mean, $1 million is a lot of money, and when we have to fight to get little projects approved for $10,000 and all this rules and regulations that the Treasurer's Office wanted to put in place, now we seem to be just saying, yeah, we can do that.
Treasurer Swan?
I would not go forward with this until my staff and I are satisfied with reviewing all of the grant letters, contracts, award certificates, and everything else to make sure that we do have some kind of guarantee that we're getting the money back. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that, my approval on that is contingent upon reviewing all of the paperwork to make sure that everything is in place.
Right, I mean, but there is the what if.
There's always the what if, yes.
And then, based on, I'd just like to know if the college has thought about what happens in September of 2018, and we're preparing a budget, and the $1 million hasn't come to the county, and our budget officer wants to cut projects because we don't have the money to do it. I just want to make sure we all understand that. I support it. I do. I support everything you do. But there's always that what if, and I don't want to have people, because other people may approach us about other things, and then we can be very difficult on them at occasion. So, Mike, I just want to make sure that, everybody's treated the same.
Absolutely.
Supervisor Leggett?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Treasurer Swan, this would be coming out of unappropriated fund balance, out of our reserve there, and then there would be enough cash left to load all of our other needs.
We looked at this very closely, and for the next 18 months, we're okay. It's not going to be a problem.
Supervisor Montesi?
You're also going to have, as you point out, as an invoice comes in, you double check it, and you're going to know pretty quickly whether the state is going to pay you or not. Before you venture into the next invoice and the next invoice.
I really can't say that, because when we review the invoices, we're just checking them to make sure that everything is presented, is done properly, and then we basically give the money back to ACC. Sorry about that. I thought you were but anyway, that's going to fall on Anne Marie and her staff to make sure that that's taken care of. That's their responsibility. We're just basically checking invoices to make sure that.
But as the president said, we will not get that grant, or they will not get the grant until the whole project is complete.
Correct.
Supervisor Bramer?
I support the project, and I'm just trying to think of how to deal with Supervisor Garrity's concern. This is a loan to the college, so in the end, if the state doesn't pay the college, we could still be made whole by taking back out of the college's budget. And that doesn't sound great, but...
Right. And I think at this point, too, perhaps Anne-Marie can address some of those concerns. There were a few questions that came up earlier in the week, and they are here before you. This is their committee, Personnel and Higher Education, so that we need to decide to move it on to finance, and its timing is also an issue, since they are getting ready to sign the contract and move forward as well. So that's why they're here before you today, and it was kind of a last-minute add-on at the beginning of the week. But there were some questions that came up about, so that you're aware, we would not be having an interest that would be accrue. We lose about $1,000 by doing this loan. Now, the flip side of that's not something the college is able to pay us back. They are not allowed to pay any type of interest back. So we did have a discussion about, could that come out of the operating expenses next year, or, we all recognize this is a great project. It's in Warren County. It's good for Glens Falls. It's good for our students. Washington County, in fact, has had projects that they've sponsored by themselves because it's been in Washington County. So the reason they're here in front of us is because this project is in Warren County. And I don't know if I got all of that 100% correct, Anne-Marie, but I know she will have it 100% correct.
So New York State ed law prohibits any SUNY community college from paying interest. So whether you try to take that out of next year's sponsorship dollars...
I'm not talking about the interest.
Right.
But it also segregates out capital dollars from operating dollars, and these fit-up costs are technically capital dollars. You also have on the operating side in New York State education law what's called maintenance of effort, which means that you can't give us less next year than you gave us this year. So I'm not an attorney, but my understanding is I don't think that you could take it out of next year's commitment. That being said, the college does have an annual capital request that it puts into the state, so I would think that if for some reason something terrible happened and the state did not make good on their contract, we do have capital dollars every single year that we use and submit that we could make this a project instead. It's not something we're planning on, and it would mean we would have to put off something else that we have planned. I don't know if that answers your
That
question.
does not really answer my question, but that brings up another question about what, is this counting towards our level of effort for next year?
No.
Because then we're bumping ourselves up without really having thought about that. Okay.
No, it does not.
No, my question was not to reduce our effort next year. What is the term? Maintenance of
Maintenance of effort.
effort? Yeah. Well, I guess it would, though.
Right.
Right.
You were saying if this, for some reason the state did not end up paying
Mhm.
that $1 million, if you could take it out of your contribution next year, I believe the answer to that is no.
And Supervisor Bramer, I was just bringing up the other issues and the questions that have been asked, and one of those was exactly that, can it come back out? And the answer has been no. We do have to remain level on that commitment that we give back to the college.
Is there I know there are capital funds. Is that separate from our maintenance of effort
Yeah.
funding in the operating
Right,
budget? I mean, could that come out of that?
Um,
This is all contingent on the state not paying, which I don't think is going to happen, even though Supervisor Garrity is concerned about it.
At some point in the future, it could certainly be a possibility if that were to happen. It goes on about a 2-year lag, so it certainly wouldn't be something that would happen immediately. And really, we use those dollars for critical maintenance needs at the college, so replacing a phone system that's dying or something else. So it would have a significant impact, but I don't want to say that the answer would definitely be no.
But just to clarify that currently the only capital money that we get as an institution actually comes from the chargeback that we get from other counties. Warren County and Washington County do not give us an annual allocation of capital dollars.
Right.
Our allocations have always been primarily operating, except obviously this most recent project, which
Right.
And you may recall, we've had a lot of discussions over the last year about those chargebacks and how we are not currently providing that additional cost. So,
And if it makes this committee feel a little better, there are several community colleges that have received this type of grant recently, and their counties are doing the same. They've gone to their counties to ask for them to kind of front the cash flow. All community colleges are in the same shape we are when it comes to capital. We really rely on our sponsors to assist us with that. And they're all in the same shape in that we're really not allowed to take on debt, so we can't go out and finance the project ourselves.
Supervisor Bramer?
Have any of those come through the other side and been paid?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
If Supervisor McDevitt?
Just Washington County, as far as are they contributing to this at all, or?
No, we're coming to Warren County because the project is actually sitting in Glens Falls in Warren County.
If there are no further questions, or Supervisor Beatty?
Yeah, you said some other counties are doing the same thing. Did the other counties put into place contingency plans if the state doesn't pay, just like Supervisor Bramer and Supervisor Garrity are asking? I'm just wondering if they have a contingency plan
Right.
if somebody doesn't come through. Do you know that or not, or you don't know? Okay, all right. Because I'm a little bit, I'm sure we'll get our money, but the state, we've got a lot of money hanging out there the state hasn't paid us.
Mm-hmm.
So you can understand the reluctance of these people in this room. When the state says they're going to do something, they don't always do it. And so $1 million is a lot of money. And I was just wondering if there's any way we could feel a little more comfortable knowing that if the state is fulfilled, we had an option. And it sounded like to me, I'm not sure we do have an option.
So at this point, is there, Supervisor Bramer?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay. And again, this would be making the motion, move it on to finance, and that is seconded by Supervisor Simpson. At this point, is there any further discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries, and we'll discuss it in finance. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2, this is our items to be discussed by the Human Resource Director. And first and foremost is Jagger Flynn to talk to us about the benefits administration system and a review of our voluntary vision options. Mr. Schuett?
Morning.
Morning.
So I have with me today Paula Weber. Raise your hand. Hi, Paula. Paula's going to be introducing what you see on the screens. We'll get to it in a few minutes, but we're going to do, this is the, and I should say first, this has been on the agenda for a number of meetings, but obviously we've had to take a deeper dive into the self-insured, rightly so, the pros and cons of that, and the system and a couple other things kept getting pushed down the agenda. So we're going to spend 10 minutes or so showing you what the employees will see. Employee Navigator is an online, it's a Ben admin system, paperless. It's going to help the county be more efficient, have an easier time keeping within benefit compliance, Affordable Care Act compliance, a number of different areas. So we'll give you a kind of a quick view of that in a few minutes. I will say SUNY Adirondack has had this system in place for a couple years, and it seems to be running fairly well. But the other couple things you have out there, and I'll kind of cruise through this because some of it's future, looking forward. One is, you don't have it in your kit, but one is that Blue Shield had just announced, we've been talking about it for a number of months, but they just announced that they're going to be adding telemedicine to their policies as of October 1st. So it doesn't coincide with your renewal date, which is December, so I'm suggesting that we do an actual rollout of this to the employees with your open enrollment effective December 1st. I think it would just make sense to align all that at one time. For a quick reminder on what telemedicine is, it's a different way to quote-unquote see or have a doctor's visit. You're having a visit with a provider on the phone, or really more appropriately these days is on your device or your laptop. They're using a network called Doctors on Demand. We can go over the benefits of this more and more as it comes along. I do think it will be a benefit because the cost for these visits actually is less to the county. That the claim costs in the background are less, and it's actually less to the employee too. So there's benefits all around. And when we have, Blue Shield just literally announced this. We don't have any collateral material yet for them, nothing really to hand you, but letting you know it's coming. And I think it's good news for the employees, good news for everybody around. And it's voluntary. I do want to make that point that it is optional. This is not something the employees have to do, but it's a benefit if they want to do it. So coming soon on that side. The other one I want to go through quick, again, trying to stay conscious of time, is should have made the way around the table. We have had discussions in previous meetings about enhancing or providing the employees with voluntary benefits with a menu of options to choose from. And the easiest one, the one that's kind of low-hanging fruit, for lack of a better phrase, is to add a voluntary vision plan for the employees to choose from. Now, when I say voluntary, just to be 100% clear, that means that is paid 100% by the employees who want it. Oh, it's making its way around the table now. Yeah. Voluntary means paid by the employees. They have the opportunity to elect it or to waive it. And everybody would need to make that election, either yes, I want it, or no, I don't. It's fine either way. We really don't have any minimum. We have to, this is through Empire Blue Cross, and they just need to insure 10 people. That's it. So we really don't have any insignificant number of people that need to take it out of your population. So I can tell you these plans really are very good bang for the dollar because it comes out of employees' pay on a pre-tax basis. And Empire Blue Cross uses all the chains. So when I say chains, I'm talking like Empire Vision Centers, which is now VisionWorks, right? VisionWorks, Sears, Target, Pearl Vision, Lens Crafters, Walmart. These are chains that they accept, but also in our area there's a few optometrists that are important to people. Bay Optical is in their network, as well as Klein & Boyd over in Western Ave. That's another big one around the area. So those are participating. the cost of these in your sheet, again, these are pretty good benefits above and beyond what Blue Shield would provide. It's a couple dollars per paycheck if somebody wants it. And for me, I've used these plans for years. You usually get a pretty good value for what you pay for a few dollars per pay on it. Okay? Questions? I don't want to breeze through it. I'm just trying to stay conscious of time, but okay.
You're doing well, thank you.
So with that, Paula's going to give us a run-through of Employee Navigator. Again, the employees, we're going to go paperless. We have a lot of employers that are utilizing this now, and it's really become a very different way. Again, you can kind of phrase it as going green a little bit on with your open enrollment and employee benefit program. So with that, Paula?
Thanks, Matt. Can everyone hear me okay if I sit here? That way you can see the screen and not have this mouse all over the place. So bear with me just a moment. I'm going to show you the employee-only view today, not the administration. Jen and Jackie are already in the system on a daily basis, taking that paper and putting it into electronic version. What I'm going to show you is from the actual employee view. Let's say that they're a new hire. What is it going to look like and feel like to them? Okay? Stop me as I go if you have any questions. So first, very, very easy. Their home screen, they're going to get an email when they're a new hire, and they're going to say, welcome to Warren County. That's a custom email message. You can put in it whatever you like. They're going to have the link to go right to Employee Navigator. They're going to be given the secret code to log in. Okay? When they log in on their home page, they have this nice happy button right here that says Start Benefits. Doesn't get much easier than that. We're going to click that button. They will be asked to review their personal information. We haven't added in a whole lot of information here because it's a demo employee, but we're going to require an email address. We're going to put in an address.
While Paula's doing that, I just want to add into, for those of you, we touched on this a long time ago, but there's no charge for this. This is part of our proposal from way back when, so this is embedded in what we're doing.
And I think you make a really good point there, just to add in that we are hopeful through this committee that we're able to provide different options for our employees over the next year or so. This is just the very first one and seemed the easiest to be able to offer.
So we're into the actual benefits piece now. What happens is it's going to show only the benefits that this employee is eligible for, okay? It is not going to show any benefits they're not eligible for. So it's very easy to class things out by whether it be years of service or what union they're in, whatever those restraints are, we can build them into the system. This person is eligible for the high deductible plan as well as the EPO. I can do a couple of things. I can see the details of the plan by hitting a quick little button. It's going to give me a nice summary of the plan. It's going to talk to me about deductibles, co-pays, what's covered in full, preventative services. Okay? I can also do a comparison. So what this does is actually line up both of those options right next to each other and give the employee an opportunity to see not only the difference in the per pay period cost, but then the actual benefits themselves. So you'll see deductible, co-insurance, your out-of-pocket maximums, your co-pays, all of the basic things that employees are going to want to use to compare their benefits.
So with this, I would say think employees viewing this at home, think spouses viewing it at home too. Let's face it, spouses make a lot of these decisions. So we're giving them tools to go in and to view it not just during open enrollment, but year-round. Ideally, we want to make this more than just an open enrollment portal or tool for them.
Also, to the top right of each one of these benefit plans, it's going to have all of the required documents, the SEC, the benefit summary. So if somebody really truly wants to get a lot more details than what they can see on this home screen, it's an easy click. It opens up in a new window and they can read the full benefit summary. But I'm going to right now I'm going to pick a plan. So all I have to do is hit select, save and continue. And now it's going to show me my prescription plan. The prescription plan comes with the medical. The system is smart enough. It knows that. There's zero cost here. So I'm just going to select it because it's the same cost as the medical. And it's only going to show me the ones I'm eligible for. Now we can go into the dental plan. Again, a nice brief summary here. Who am I going to enroll? If I had dependents in the system, it would list all of my dependents out here, and I would simply click on them to add them to the coverage. You can do the compare, you can do details. I'm going to select the plan.
So Paula, can you just, for fun, show the waive this one? So employees are going to have the option to elect it, or, very simply, maybe they don't need the dental, maybe they don't need the vision. That's perfectly fine. They can go in, and this is a proof, this is state stamped, this is in the system, this is retained. You have a waiver or an enrollment election for every employee. And then the waive is just this simple.
So if I'm going to go back and I'm going to change my mind, right, I don't want dental after all, I'm going to hit the button that says don't want this benefit, and I'm going to choose my reason. Now for a medical plan, that reason is important, right? You need to attest that all of your employees do have, coverage somewhere. So this is the part that's a reportable field, so you're always covered under ACA. I'm going to say cost. I don't want to spend that $9. It automatically brings me to the next plan. This is the EAP plan. Every eligible employee gets it. There is no cost. We're just letting everyone know that this is one of their benefits. I'm going to hit save and continue. Here's my enrollment summary. It tells me all the rules and regulations involved in benefit plans. I'm going to consider this my electronic signature as well. It tells the employee that everything is being date stamped and that they're agreeing to the rules of the plan. I have to hit this agree button for this to work. If I don't hit the button, this enrollment won't go all the way through. It'll stay as pending in the system until either HR takes action by calling the employee or emailing the employee, or the employee logs back in to make their final decision. New hires are going to have that 31-day window to elect their benefits. So once I hit agree, and yes, by the way, it's going to show their total per pay period cost. This particular employee, because we declined the dental plan, is only showing the medical premium. Okay? Any questions before I continue? Okay. I'm going to hit agree. Here's my acknowledgement. It's been submitted. Here's my confirmation page that I can print out and save for my records. This enrollment will also be here all year long. So if you ever forgot what plan you chose, or you have a qualifying event, such as you have a birth or an adoption or a marriage, you go right back into the exact same system, and you can make your changes in there. HR would always have the final approval on any of those qualifying events. Okay? There is one last thing I want to show you when I go back to the home page. Employee Navigator has the ability to set up required tasks. There may be times throughout the benefit year that you want your employees either to see a new policy, a new employee handbook, a new rule that's been put out. The Navigator system has a way for you to notify your employees that they have a new task that's been assigned to them, and you put it right into the system. They have to acknowledge that task, complete it if there's an activity to complete, and then you've got record with electronic date stamp that they've seen the new policy, they've accepted it, and you've got proof of that entire benefit year. So it's a really nice feature to have. We've got a few of them that we automatically sign up for each one of these employees. We're going to tell them that we want to communicate with them electronically, so we're going to ask them to sign the document and accept the fact that we're going to communicate with them through email. If they don't sign it, that's a flag for HR to say, okay, somebody doesn't want to play on the electronic platform. Okay? We also have the state and federal required notices. Jen, how many pages are you at right now in that document? Like 40-ish. 40. That's a mandatory document that has to go to every single new hire, and it's supposed to go to every single employee during open enrollment. This does it all electronically. You're saving lots of trees, lots of time, and a lot of reading. So this is a very nice feature to have within the system. All they have to do is click on the link. It opens up the document in the window, and they can read all of the fun state and federal laws and regulations.
Yeah, so this one falls under compliance, obviously benefit compliance. It's there for them 24/7 year-round. Also, username and password, they're backing. If they do want to view it, it's in there. The SBC, all of it.
Now, this is, again, a demo employee, so some of these tasks are already completed. With a real employee, obviously, if you haven't done that signed document piece, that would be live, and you would see the date and time stamp right on it. Don't want to drag this out any further than this unless somebody has questions. Employee Navigator does have a lot more capabilities, but again, our demos generally go an hour and a half. I don't want to do that to you folks. We've got a big enough agenda. Does anyone else have any questions on this system?
Supervisor Connor?
I know the state controller's been more active in this arena in terms of site security, especially use of credit cards, that kind of thing. I think they're even beginning to promulgate some standards, and my only comment would be standards of security, site security are being recommended or followed. You may already be aware, so
the good news is I'm also the HIPAA compliance officer, so we make sure that with all of our vendors that we give SOC 1, SOC 2 reports, SF 80, 16, annual assurances, and we go through our own testing plan. Understood and noted. Nobody is 100% risk-free, but we do our best.
And that's very helpful. We certainly appreciate the demo. We've been looking forward to it. And Matt, have you guys already gotten out and trained employees, or that's taking place?
Not yet. That's going to be part of open enrollment. And we are going to be there. I wanted to make a point also. We're not going to just send them a link and here you go. We're going to be there to train. We're going to have sessions. We're going to handhold this first year, certainly, because it's a new system.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody, any questions? Matt, thanks for taking the time to walk us through that this morning. It looks great, and we appreciate your hard work. Next on our agenda is a review of the recommendations from the Reallocation Committee. Trish or Jackie, do you want to speak regarding this?
The items marked 2B are the lists that came out from the Reallocation Committee. We reviewed 21 positions. We recommended 12 of them for reallocation. Some because of the qualifications for job duties, and some because of recruitment and retention issues, primarily in DPW, as they, those of you who run town know that you all pay better than Warren County does in those areas. So the recommendations are listed by position on the first page, and then you have it by actual employee, but without any employee information on the second and third pages, and the financial impact of those changes.
Are there any questions for Jackie regarding this? Jackie, do we need to do anything with this in terms of a resolution, or is this more of an FYI?
I think we have to, these would all be changes effective January 1.
Okay.
And we would be moving these titles within the CSEA agreement to new grades, so we would have to have a resolution to do that for next year.
Okay. Would you like that now? Is that the preference? Supervisor Simpson? So the motion was made by Supervisor Simpson. Do we have a second? By Supervisor Frazier. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say during our budget, or not budget, during our contract negotiations, this is one of the items that we discussed at the time, and the union made the budget negotiating team very much aware that they were going to bring back this at the reallocation. They took it off the agenda for the contract, but we knew that this was coming, and talking to most of the town supervisors, we have a huge problem in DPW retaining people, getting people to even take jobs there, and then they'll go to a different position throughout the county. So I sat in on the reallocation. I know it looks like it's a lot of money, but it's something that we basically had agreed to, and I would hope that the committee and the board will support this going forward.
Supervisor Bramer, then Simpson. Sorry.
Thanks. Should we have the union people look at this first?
They have.
Yeah?
Yeah, the reallocation committee is made up half of county representatives and then half.
Great, okay. I did not know that. Thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Simpson.
As DPW Chair, I want to thank the reallocation committee and everybody that worked on this, because it has been a large problem, a big problem for a long time, and this goes a long ways to improve that department situation. Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is item 2C. 2C will talk a little bit about the job notice that's going out for the county administrator. So you have a copy in front of you of our proposed job announcement that will go out based on our board discussions and our vote last month. So I'm also going to have Jackie talk a little bit about this, but in addition to the ad, we listed for you previously where we and how much we spent when we went out posting for this. We have a couple ideas to reduce that cost in terms of advertising, and I'll let Jackie just describe to you what the proposal is, and we wanted to make sure the committee was comfortable with it.
Well, when we were discussing the cost of advertising last time, it seems to be a hot news item anyway, so I thought maybe a press release just stating that we formally posted it with a link to the posting on our website, we might get the same or maybe more coverage without having to pay for an actual print ad in the national paper. I'm not sure how successful those ads are anyway. Most people are looking online, so I thought maybe if we could have a little article, maybe they would print an article with a link that would get people who are interested, direct the traffic right to our website.
Supervisor Bramer?
Thanks. I really like this description, and I like that we do not have an end date. I think that was a mistake last time when we said we're only accepting until such and such date. And I think maybe we could try to send the press release to papers in other cities like Syracuse, Buffalo, and New York City. They might not run it, but maybe they would, and could get us some good quality candidates from other places that want to come to beautiful Warren County.
A good idea. So if you guys have any other ideas in terms of posting sites, please let me know, let Jackie know, and we can add those to where we're going to be sending this out. And provided there aren't any additional comments about the job ad itself, we're going to move forward with this, unless anyone feels strongly. And then also on the bottom, you'll see our proposed recruiting timeline. So today we are hopefully getting this approved, and then we'll move on to working on that full job description that I think it was Supervisor Bramer who had asked about that at the last full board meeting, at our personnel meeting in September. And so we'll be able to spend some time, that will be sent out to you ahead of time, kind of dissecting the job description. 10/17 will hold a special meeting of our personnel committee at 11 a.m. for review of resumes. You are all more than welcome to go down and see Jackie as they're coming in if you want to see it before our special meeting on 10/17. Otherwise, what we'll do is in an executive session we will go through the resumes and have discussions about who you would like to interview at that time. The week of 11/13 we'll hold interviews. We've got some tentative dates there. Please try to mark that off on your calendar. This is the interviewing committee, the personnel committee, so it would be great to have you all there. And of course the entire board is welcome to come to those and would encourage that. And hopefully we'll have some candidates for second interviews on the week of 11/27. All of that will put us in good shape to make a decision and hopefully have a new hire by January 1st. Any questions, concerns, or comments about this timeline or, the direction we're moving in, Supervisor Montesi?
On 10/17, can we bump that up to 10 o'clock instead of 11?
Sure.
Is that,
As long as that works for personnel. Did we have something in front of that? I feel like we did.
Thought we put it at 11 after another meeting, but.
Yeah. I think it is following another meeting.
Okay, all right.
But we can double check. If there isn't another meeting, we can certainly do
Thank
that.
you.
But I do believe there is one. Any other comments? Very good. So I don't think we need a vote on this. We just needed to make sure that the committee was all on the same page. Am I correct in that, Mary? Yeah. Just a job posting. Okay. Yep. Okay. Very good. Any other supervisors have any while you're all here? No? Good. Okay.
Chairwoman, I just want to, thank you for moving this forward. I'm really glad to see us doing this. Kevin, I know you've been doing great, but I would like to see someone
More
there.
than pleased.
Thank you, Supervisor Seaver, for keeping this going.
Thank you. Okay, so item number D is a review of the updated exit interview form. We've had some discussions lately about exit interviews, and so you'll see this item D. And Jackie, if you just want to talk a little bit about the updates on this.
Well, actually, the whole form is new. We had an administrative directive come out, I think about 18 months ago, saying when you know somebody is retiring or resigning, reach out to HR, let us know, we'll conduct an exit interview. We don't get a lot of those communications ahead of time. We get the 426, but sometimes they're already out the door by the time we get that. So this just sort of encourages or requires department heads to offer the exit interview opportunity to all departing employees. They don't have to take it, they can decline, but at least we're making sure that everybody's being offered that opportunity on the way out the door. So I think if this is fine, we don't need a resolution. I think we would just update the administrative directive, have the county administrator send it out to the department heads, letting them know.
Thank you, Jackie. I think this was important for us to move forward and make sure that we are hearing from employees if they want to talk to us about why they're leaving, and gives just one added checks and balances there. So we do not need a resolution for that, and provided there aren't any additional comments, we'll move forward then. On to item E, the review of report of tracking of vacancies that have been filled, and you've got that report in front of you. Is there anything, Trish or Jackie, that you want to add on to that item? You're good? Okay. Item 3A, a request to amend the table of organization and salary schedule to set the salary of a part-time community services worker at $15 per hour. Can I get a motion to get this on the floor, please? Supervisor Montesi, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Is there any discussion regarding 3A?
Yes, inadvertently, didn't put the right salary per hour, and I believe that it's $15.95. So I'd like to make that adjustment. Thank you.
Okay, great. Who made that motion? Was it, I know, thank you. Was that agreeable, Supervisor Frazier?
That's fine,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Moving on to 3B. This is a request to amend the department table of organization and salary schedule to reduce the salary of the Assistant Social Services Attorney position from $71,400 to $65,000, and for authorization to fill due to resignation. And you just have a side note there that this request was not reviewed and approved by Health, Human, and Social Services, but it does have the support of Supervisor Frazier, from what I understand. And can we get a motion to have that on the floor? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Any discussion? None? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Item 4 was withdrawn, and we'll see that in the coming month or two to discuss that from the Wellness Committee. There are no pending items this month on both personnel and higher education. I just want to remind you that we do have a deadline tomorrow for all of our department heads to submit their self-evaluations. This is a very friendly reminder to all of our supervisors that sit on evaluation teams. You have about 2 weeks to complete your evaluations and send them on to Jackie. We will be doing our evaluations at the end of this month. You should have all of your dates on your calendar by now for it. We certainly appreciate your hard work in preparing those forms ahead of time and sending them on to Jackie. Supervisor Simpson.
Thank you. I have two backfill, intent to fill positions in DPW that were late because of the timing of when these positions were vacated. And they've been approved by the budget officer and also the administrator. I've signed off on them. One is a due to resignation. This is an MEO, medium number 8. I'd like to have approval to fill. You want to do one at a time, or consider it one at a time, or do you want both?
No, I think given the fact we haven't seen them, it would be nice to have them one at a time. Did they do an exit interview, Supervisor Simpson?
That I don't know. I just learned about this late yesterday, about these positions. So.
Is there a motion to put that on the floor by the committee? Supervisor Montesi, seconded by Supervisor Leggett. Is there any discussion? I have a question, if I may. Can we just make sure that, is Jeff here, or did he leave?
I think he left, but we did.
We talked yesterday.
We did communicate that, you know, this really needs to be done through committee, and if he has an idea that somebody's going to resign, or we should try to get the backfill done like other departments do, that, you know, if somebody's leaving, we fill up through the ranks. It's better to do it. But I understand the urgency to get these so we can get the work done.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Your next one, Supervisor Simpson?
My next one, which is due to promotion, and this is also a motor equipment operator, grade 7.
Motion put that on the floor. Supervisor McDevitt, seconded by Supervisor Simpson. Any discussion regarding this? Supervisor Bramer.
Is that person taking the other one?
This one,
The person that's leaving that job? Are they taking the one that we just
gotta
passed?
move one. Well, Jeff's not here to answer that one.
One goes up
One
from
goes
light,
up.
light to medium.
Yes, and then the backfill on the.
And then one person resigned.
Yeah.
One is vacant for a promotion, one is vacant for resignation.
Right. So there are two.
The chain effect. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Like I said, in the future, we'll get it. It's not
Okay. Okay, great. And you also have the last item,
She's reading.
vacancies approved by, for filing by your oversight committee, and that information is listed there in your agenda. Is there any other business to come before personnel this morning? Anyone from the public that wishes to be heard? Hearing none, could I have a motion to adjourn, please? Made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Montesi. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Again.